Hi, my name is Cedric Dahl. I'm the director of People in Motion.
Cool. You've mentioned that the direction of the film changed dramatically once you met people who practice parkour. Could you elaborate on what was the original motivation to start filming?
Sure. So, a few years ago, my friend and I left our corporate jobs and we promised ourselves that we would only do things that we really believed in. And we were wondering, well, what do we believe in? And we asked, what do other people believe in? What drives them? And we started looking around, just trying to figure out what literally drives people, what motivates them. And the more we looked, the more bored people seemed, for the most part, until we came across Traceurs. And when they introduced us to parkour, it was just a completely different thing. These people cared about what they were doing. They were in love with life. They had a different attitude. They appreciated the world and people around them at just a different level.
What made you decide to switch the focus of the film to parkour?
Well, once we discovered, Paul, and he introduced us to what parkour was all about, once we started to get it, it was just obvious. We had to do this film about parkour. It was meaningful. It could impact people. It could hopefully change people's lives.
The soundtrack of the film is beautifully complex and complements the visuals so well. How did you decide which songs to use?
So, with the film, we knew it was really all about rhythm, because we wanted to keep people's attention, but we also wanted to follow the natural rhythms that people have. We knew it couldn't just be all really high action. It couldn't be all sort of like peaceful. It had to have a rhythm, and it had to take somebody somewhere. Whoa, big wasp. So anyway, the film had to have a rhythm, right? So what we decided to do was understand sort of the rhythm that we wanted to go after, and it was a pretty simple one. We wanted to start peaceful, build up, end at like a really sort of high intense note, and then come back down. So we had these sort of 3 peaks throughout the film that we were going for. And then what we did is we looked at songs that already had great rhythms that played well inside of those sort of peaks that we were aiming for. So that was sort of the overarching goal. The actual music selection came from, initially, a different video. The whole film, People in Motion, is sort of an homage, sort of a tip of the hat to another film called Earth, the Pale Blue Dot, by this great, just phenom short film director called Michael Morantz. And if you have a chance, check it out, Earth, the Pale Blue Dot, you can find it on YouTube. And he opens up with this beautiful song that he composed, and we asked him if we could borrow the song. And it's this gorgeous, simple piano song that starts off really basic, and it takes you to this sort of intense place. And the short film that he made is all about humanity's evolution, how we're culturally evolving as a people, as a species. And the film is trying to tell people, like, just like his film says, we're at this place where we need to make a decision, we need to evolve. We have a bridge to cross. People in Motion tries to do the same thing, where it says, basically, people are sitting still too much. We need to move. We need to get out and do things. And so the whole film was sort of, the beginning and the end, used the same music that Michael used, that he composed. Outside of that, we worked with some brilliant composers. We had this really wonderful dubstep sort of violin music that came from Lindsay Sterling. She's a really incredibly talented sort of new age violinist. We also work with Nicholas Amon, who's a film composer. He's done a lot of scores for indie films. And then we also worked with a couple of local composers in Austin, Texas, mostly Justin Douglas from Shine Studios, as well as a dubstep composer by the name of Miles, and a classical composer in LA named Alex Bornstein, who put together the music in our credits.
So how was the film cast? What drew you to specifically to include each person?
So originally, we were working with this guy, Shane Farmer, who was a friend, and he went out and he just happened to run into Paul. And as soon as we met Paul, it all kind of went from there. We knew that we wanted to have a diverse group of people. So Paul was really into parkour, and then the next person we met had a background really fundamentally in gymnastics, but he had the same sort of core belief about movement. And from there, we looked for natural movement, somebody who would move around on all fours. That's how we met Jacob. After Jacob, we wanted to find somebody who's all about efficiency, just going from point A to point B. And Paul knew Lonnie, so we met Lonnie that way. And then to round out our crew, we had Brian Orozco, who's just all about continuous movement. And Shane found everybody, our casting director, who's really great at it.
After spending so much time filming and training parkour over the course of a year, are there places on your wish list of where you'd like to travel and train? What is parkour to you, in other words?
Yeah, so I'd love to spend some more time in Seattle. Seattle's got so much amazing stuff. I wish they had nicer weather more of the year. I lived there for a couple years, and I didn't really discover parkour till after I had left. But yeah, I'd love to go back to Seattle, spend a few months there, and just play on everything. Outside of that, I'd love to go to Chateau de Versailles. You know, this beautiful, huge garden in France. It's so lush and gorgeous. It'd be nice to play on that. And Woodward, Pennsylvania. There's a little camp called Camp Woodward, which is a skating facility. I used to skate for a better part of a decade, and it'd be really neat to play around there.
What do you believe is the power of parkour?
So, it seems that parkour is all about architecture. And when you think about architecture, the thing of it is, it's not about walls and it's not about structure. It's really about the movement of people. And what parkour allows you to do is it allows you to stop interacting with things in the way they're intended to, and allows you to start interacting with them however you'd like. So it gives you an ability to re-architect your surroundings. No longer is a wall just a wall. A wall can now be a runway. It can be a platform that you can jump off of, that you can use to escalate to another place. And really that fundamental power of re-architecting your reality, it goes beyond just the physical nature. You can literally re-architect mentally what you believe you're capable of, and you can get to new places. You become a more capable person.
And finally, what do you want people to take away from the film?
Just move. If you get a chance to watch the film and you enjoy it, please, go outside, move. Whether you've been moving forever or you haven't moved in a long time, just move.